Hi guys, so today I'm back with another video, and today I'm just going to be sharing my experience with improving my vision naturally. I started this vision practice that I've been doing about, I want to say almost 5 weeks ago. I think I'm on week 5 now. I'm not really sure. I'm starting on week 5 now. And I will say that my vision has improved a lot. Just to give you a little background, I've been wearing glasses since I was in 3rd or 4th grade. I want to say I was between 8 or 9 years old. Whenever I was a child and I first started wearing glasses, I noticed like my vision was already challenged before I started wearing the glasses. However, when I started wearing the glasses and I remember one day not having them on when I was outside, and I noticed that my vision was worse than what it was before I started wearing the glasses. I don't know why that stuck in my head, but I kind of observed over the years. Like when I was a child, I didn't pay much attention to what was going on with my eyes. Even though I remember that moment, I didn't really start paying attention until I was an adult. Into adulthood, I noticed that every year my vision was getting worse. And somehow I knew that it was because of the glasses. Like my eyes were depending on the glasses, and therefore they were weakening. At one point throughout my vision journey, my eyes were so weak that whenever I would take my glasses off, it felt like I didn't have much control over my eyes. Like they would like start moving. I don't know. For all I know, they were probably going cross-eyed. And then it also felt like I remember it also felt like a lot of times overwhelming when I would take my glasses off, like as if there was just like this big, huge change in my vision. And at some point, I decided that eventually because I knew I didn't want to get any type of surgery, because at the end of the day, the surgery is not promised that you will have perfect vision. And how do I know this? Because I did so much research, because at one point I did want the surgery. And there are some people who ended up with worse vision after they had surgery. Not only that, I know somebody personally who had surgery, and at first their vision was perfect, and now they have to wear corrective lenses. So it was, to me, I would view that as a waste of money. All right, a few years ago, I decided that I was going to eventually, start doing a practice so I could heal my eyes naturally. I started on one, then I stayed consistent. It was something I found on YouTube. And then about a year ago, I found this, some guy on YouTube. He's amazing. I'm going to give you his name, and I'll also put his channel in the description box below. His name is Mark Warren, and his channel is called Myopia is Mental. So I watched one of his videos about a year ago, and then I was like, well, I'm going to do this. And I didn't stick to it. So this year I was guided back to his channel, and I got serious about it. And I began my natural healing journey for my eyes. I've been doing this practice for, I want to say I'm on my 5th week now. And I'm going to tell you now that I noticed a big change in my vision. The first thing that I noticed was there was one of his videos that I was watching around that time 5 weeks ago. And he mentioned clear flashes of vision or something like that, or clear flashes. And I'm like, I became really curious, like, wow, like what would that be like? What does he mean by clear flashes of vision? So I started doing this thing that he mentioned called active focusing. So active focusing is when you focus on one thing in front of you, but you're also allowing yourself to use your peripherals, meaning you're looking at one thing, but you can see above you, below you, and to both sides of you. You can see movement, not just only using your peripherals, but you're noticing the movement of these other objects while you're looking at something completely different. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but if you watch his videos, it'll make a lot more sense. So I started doing that. And when you do that, you want to keep your eyes open for as long as you can. So your eyes will start to burn. And that's just when you're doing that with a soft gaze, not staring hard, because you're putting strain on your eyes if you stare hard. You do it with a soft gaze. And when you're doing that, you feel the burning and your eyes might start tearing up as well. That's just your eyes releasing this something called the ciliary muscle. So as far as I know from the information I've received from his videos, is that most people with myopia, which is nearsighted vision, is that we tend to, us people who can only see up close, we tend to tunnel vision a lot. And after he said that, a light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, wow, I do that. So normally before, when I would look at things, I noticed that I would focus hard on one thing, and I would kind of block out everything else that's in my vision. Unless something's coming at me, I would be able to see that. But I would like kind of just tunnel in on whatever I would be looking at, and I would just disregard everything else in my visionary field. So I started using my peripherals a lot more. That was one thing that he suggested, just at all times. And I did that a lot because I drive a lot, which was easier for me to do while driving, even though I was doing it all the time consciously, because a lot of times we have to remind ourselves of these new habits that we're taking on. I noticed that when I started doing that, it was like my eyes began to take in a lot more information. I was seeing a lot more. And this is something he mentioned too, colors were more vibrant. It was just like, it's kind of like you are seeing a whole new world, even though it's the same world, but you're learning to use your eyes properly. So another way to describe it is how he described it was, whenever, especially like when you're moving or walking or driving, it's like you're, the way you're using your eyes, it's like you're in a motion picture video, like a movie. You know how in a movie they are, the camera's moving. Let's say somebody's driving outside, or it's just, the camera's just going through outside, and you just see the movement and everything around you. It's just, everything's coming towards you. That's an example of what I mean. So again, going back to day one, we were talking about the flashes of clear vision. So I started doing this thing that he mentioned. I ordered an eye chart from Amazon, so it came in like 2 days. So I put my eye chart on my wall. I stood about 10 feet away from the eye chart, and then I immediately just started laughing because I was like, wow, I really can't see anything. It just looked like blur. Like I could see the white chart, and then I saw the black was all just jumbled together on the white chart, and I couldn't even tell apart the letters. I couldn't see any of the letters at the top or anything. So even though I couldn't see anything, I stood there and I began to rock side to side. So I stood there, I kind of separated my legs like shoulder width apart, and then I began to move side to side while staring directly at the chart. So while I'm staring at the chart, I made sure that I was also consciously seeing everything around me. I was like, okay, I could see the ceiling, I could see the floor while I'm still staring at the chart, and I could see the items that are on the left and the right of me. So I did that for 10 minutes straight. But before the 10 minutes, I would say within the first couple minutes of doing that, I received a clear flash of vision, and it really blew my mind. I was like, whoa, there's no freaking way. But yes, that clear flash, it lasted for about, I want to say about 3 seconds. And during that clear flash, I was able to clearly see the whole eye chart from 10 feet away. Before then, I haven't seen clearly with my own eyes since, I guess you can say, maybe second grade, before I got glasses. So that was really mind-boggling to me. And after that moment, I knew, I was like, all right, there's something to this, you know? So I did it for 10 minutes straight. I received 4 clear flashes within that 10-minute time span, and I was just like, this is crazy. But I meant crazy in a good way. And I knew from that point on I was just going to continue on and actually be consistent. So every day I would allow myself to do the active focusing, and it would be like anywhere I would go, I would just do it. So one day I was outside of my daughter's camp waiting on her, and I did it with a street sign. At first, I could not see the street sign. It was about 20 feet away. And as I sat there and I stared at this sign while keeping my eyes open as long as I could, I began to see the sign very clearly. So after practicing that for every day, you know, after the first week, well, not even the first week, I would say after the first time I did it, I did notice an improvement in my vision. It wasn't much, but now that I'm on week 5, I noticed a huge difference in my vision. Like everything is, although things are still blurry from a distance, my vision is a lot sharper. For example, I want to say it was the end of week 3. I went to eat with some coworkers, and we were outside. Now my vision is a lot better outside with the natural lighting, which I would imagine that most people's vision is better outside with the natural sunlight. And I was sitting across from some of them, and they were like, I want to say 3 feet away. And I was able to clearly see the details in their face. Now I want to say their face wasn't like crystal clear, but before then I wasn't able to see details in people's faces if they weren't right up on me. So that's a big deal to me. Not only that, but I remember I want to say the end of week 2, I was in the sunlight a lot. So I went on a field trip with my kids, and we were outside all day. So I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention one thing that I was also doing that I still do now is I don't use my glasses when I don't need them. So when I'm not driving, when I'm not somewhere important where I need to actually clearly see things, I take my glasses off and I give my eyes a rest. And I feel like that has strengthened my eyes a lot as well. So so that day we were out in the sun, and I will say at first it was really overwhelming for my eyes, to the point where although my vision was clearer, it felt like it was a lot to take in. So at first, the sun got really bright, and at first my eyes started to like quiver in water, and I was just trying to keep it together as best I could. Like, oh, I hope people aren't staring at me with my eyes like quivering, probably twitching or whatever. Anyway, after a little while, I would say 5 to 10 minutes, my eyes adjusted and they didn't feel so overwhelmed anymore. Let's say 10 minutes. All right, so that whole day, we were probably there for about 4 hours at this field trip outside, and by the end, I could tell that I was able to just see a lot more with my own eyes. So just ever since then, I just make sure I get outside and get sunlight every day without my glasses on. And yeah, but anyway, back to what I was saying. So whenever I got back to the lot, to just explain things, I drive a school bus, and sometimes I take people on field trips. And when I take them on field trips, sometimes I go on the field trip as well. That day I took my kids with me. So when I got back to my bus yard and I was talking to my manager, like I went inside, I still didn't have my glasses on. Of course I drove with my glasses on, but I took them off once I parked the bus and everything. When I went inside to talk to my manager, I was looking at him, and from that point on, I noticed that sometimes when I would be looking at a person or something, my vision right below that, I don't know if it would be like mid-level or bottom, but I would say like right here would appear clear, whereas like up here, depending on how far that thing or person was, it would be like blurred. Not badly, but blurred. And when I would look down to where I would see the clear vision, it would disappear, obviously, because I believe it's just like the whatever angle for some reason was just appearing clearly. So after that, that would happen often, not all day, but it would happen often after that. I thought that was interesting because certain parts of my vision are starting to become clear, which is a good sign. And also I would notice, like, if I was looking at somebody out of the corner of my eye, they would appear clearly as well from the corner of my eye versus when I'm looking straight at them. So yeah, those are just a few interesting things that I noticed along with that. And I also noticed that, you know, even when I'm looking at my phone, if I'm reading something, while I'm at home, I don't have my glasses on. So I'll look at it, I'll give myself a challenge. And that's just when you are pulling it back, whatever text you're reading, pulling it back far enough where it's at the edge of blur. And then I noticed when I started doing that, my eyes would automatically start correcting, my vision would start to correct itself, like it would become clear. Now, this is a process, so although it becomes clear, it doesn't always stay for however long you're looking at it. So you might have to refocus and readjust and things like that. But overall, I would say that this technique is 100% working. And I appreciate it so much. I'm so grateful that I came across Mark Warren's videos. He has been so helpful with explaining things, helping me. And I know he's helped so many other people to understand how to use their eyes properly. Because for so long, I know I wasn't using my eyes properly, but I had no idea. Also, I'm just grateful for all the research that he has done. And I look forward to continuing to improve my eyesight. So what I decided I was going to do, since I haven't had my vision tested in 2 years, I decided that since I started this journey about a month ago, in 2 more months, I'm going to go ahead and get an eye exam to see where my vision is now. Now I don't have an accurate knowing of where my vision was when I first started, because all I know was 2 years ago when I got it tested, I was a negative 550 and negative 5.25. So I'm assuming that my vision did get worse from 2 years ago, but since I started this practice, it's gotten a lot better. So we're just going to stick with the negative 550 and negative 525, and then I'll see where I am, you know, once I get my eye exam done. I want to say it would be the either end of October or beginning of November when I would go. But thank you so much for watching. Sorry if I have been talking for too long. And hopefully all the information that I gave was clear and easy to understand. If not, please feel free to ask questions. And I look forward to hearing about your success as well in improving your vision. Anything is possible. All I'm going to say is that, and this is something that he mentioned as well, when you go into something like this, you have to have the mindset that this thing is possible. Because if you go in with doubt, you're going to get those results of, oh, I knew this didn't work. If you don't believe it's going to work, it's not going to work for you. But if you do believe it's going to work, you will see good results. So anyway, everybody have a good day. Thank you.